All right, good morning again, Juan. You mentioned earlier on you wanted people to understand a bit more about how brokers work, brokernomics in general. Fill me in. So I'm a retail client as well. Treat me like one. What should I think about when I think broker?
Okay, so the background to this is we see a lot of, well, I guess the word is ignorant. So a lot of people don't really understand how a broker works, and that's completely natural because
Yeah.
it's a complex machine. I mean, when we came into this in 2014, we were pretty much clueless, and and then what I've noticed throughout the years is that every time we've talked a bit about how a broker works from the inside, like users are really grateful for it. So we did this one on the OTC value chain as to what happens if after a guy trades and what's a liquidity provider, a prime broker, and so on. And then a whole bunch of questions came back. So I figured there's a book I really loved, which I highly recommend. That's called Freakonomics, on basically how sumo matches are rigged and how prostitutes set pricing. And it's really, really interesting book. I recommend it. It's one by a guy called Stephen Levitt. By the way, Chicago school economist. So
Wow.
this is not a joke. This is a really good economics book.
Okay.
And then there's a wealth of data out there on public brokers much larger than us. So
Yeah.
I figured we're going to do one thing, which is to run one or several webcasts or whatever this is called, explaining on the basis of public numbers from quoted brokers such as IG or Plus 500 and so on, how the kind of the basic economic levers of a broker work. Then we can disclose some stuff around Darwinex as well. And basically, so the agenda for this webcast, or I think it's probably going to be several of them. I don't know if it matches one-to-one with what we've got here, but essentially for a broker to work, it has to first acquire customers. He or she can then kind of purchase those, or if he's lucky to have a community, then these can be referred organically by customers. Then of course, you want to retain those customers for as long as you can. And then that means keeping as many users active as possible with as much equity.
I think this is a good opportunity to blatantly tell people why it's important to a broker to retain the users.
No, of course. I mean, we'll really look at all that because we're doing some interesting modeling ourselves to really get to the fully parameterized operational model of Darwinex, so we can really make better business decisions as a company
and share along the way.
And share along the way. Yeah. I mean, some of it is ready, some of it isn't, but we want to make customers privy to what's going on, because I'm not making a secret of, in the long run, I'd love to our customers to hopefully be stakeholders and possibly even shareholders in us to preserve the vision. So, we need to acquire and retain customers, and that costs money. So we need to support the customer base. We need to hold capital for regulatory reasons, and also for because otherwise it's that your franchise would be at risk. Then there's a lot of technology involved. So we need to host everything in like we do it in Amazon Web Services and Equinix. Then we need to aggregate flows to basically hedge out risk to the market. That risk comes from different trading platforms. As you know, it's MT4, MT5, could be a fixed engine. It will also shortly be Trader Workstation. And then as we do all that, we face a range of risks, which are listed here. We have to obviously comply with the regulator. We are open for business 24/5, and stuff happens. So we'll talk about what goes on in the operations department, and then how what can we do to manage all those risks. That's essentially the gist of this. And now, before I really go into depth on any of these, we thought we would crowdsource all the questions that anybody ever had about how a broker works. and hopefully, if I know how to, then we can do, we can include those in the content as we produce it.
And if we don't cover anything here in this sort of conversation / chat, there is an agenda on the table for specific casual fun interviews with relevant personnel in each of these departments coming up in the near future. So stay tuned for those. Those are already being recorded.
Yeah. Okay. So please share your questions with us, because we will be looking at, most likely, IG has the highest quality investor disclosure. So I will take an IG investor presentation and cover this this agenda on the basis of that of that material.
Brilliant.
So I look forward to that, guys. Please ask us anything. If I know how to, I'll do my very best to explain it. Okay?
Brilliant. Thanks, Juan.
Thank you. Bye-bye.